Hello and welcome to the States of Matter podcast from the Institute of Refrigeration's Women in RACHP network. I'm Karen Perry and here to co-host is our network chair, Lisa Jane Cook.
Hi.
And it's a pleasure to welcome our guest today, Caitlin Earle, who's an affiliate member of the Institute and a project consultant at Wave Refrigeration. Hi, Caitlin, welcome.
Hi, Karen.
So you've been at Wave for a few years now, starting out as a trainee, I believe.
Yeah.
Just tell us a little bit about you and how you started in the industry and really a little bit about your career so far.
I left school and went straight into a manufacturing company which supplied parts for vehicles and aerospace, nothing to refrigeration based at all. And I was looking for something else. I was looking to get out of that. And it's quite funny, really. I was talking to a neighbour, really nice, really chatty, telling her that I wanted something to do with either mechanical engineering or something a little bit mathsy, if you like. And a couple of days later, she posted an envelope through my letterbox with the Wave trainee application form on it. And I read through it and I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I want. So I applied for it, went through for the interviews, and yeah, that's how I fell into the industry, I suppose. So I did about 3.5 years as a trainee for Wave, learning the engineering side and learning the project side. So I'd do things such as regressions, I'd help on energy trials. So a couple of years ago, obviously there was a really big push for putting doors on chillers. I helped doing some energy trials with them. And yeah, that's really how I've got to where I am now. I mean, only recently I became a project consultant, I think 2 months ago. And so that's where I am.
And where did that interest, I think you say you fell into the industry, but it sounds to me like you planned what you were going to do. I presume you're going to tell me you were good at maths, but where did that passion and interest in mechanical engineering and that want to go kind of down that career route? Because obviously a lot of girls don't really see that and think about that as a career plan.
To be honest, at school, I didn't really enjoy science, but it wasn't the subject, it was the teacher or the teachers. But maths was different. Maths, I really enjoyed it. I had a fantastic teacher. I just understood it. So I took it on at A level, which obviously got significantly harder. But I still enjoyed it. And I just, my parents always told me, don't do something that's easy, do something because you enjoy it. So that's really how I got into it. And I mean, in terms of like mechanical engineering, I never had the chance to do that at school. The school that I went to, it was very just plain subjects, if you like. I know some schools you can actually do engineering. We didn't have the choice to do that. But yeah, that's how I fell in, really.
It's really, really interesting. I think probably what struck me most about the things that you said so far is that in your training program with Wave, you've experienced more than one element of the industry, and I think that's really important. It gives you a holistic picture. This is the project start to finish, but it's allowed you to find within industry what you're really passionate about and really what you're going to stay for. Would you agree?
Yes, definitely. I mean, for me, obviously when you come into the industry, you don't really know anything about the industry. It's not like a mainstream industry that everybody knows about. Obviously, it's a massive industry. It's everywhere, but you don't necessarily realise that until you step in. And I think to be able to do both sides or more than one side, so engineering projects, it's given me a wider outlook on everything, and it's just widened my understanding. I feel like if I had just done one and not the other, I might not be where I am today.
And tell us about the role of a project consultant then. I guess you're still finding your feet, but yeah, what do your kind of daily tasks entail?
So my role, it entails looking over a project from start to finish. So me personally, I'm doing Aldi's, and we'll take the project on right from the start. You'll sit through meetings where everything's being planned. You'll draw up, or personally, I won't draw up the drawings, but I have a team of CAD designers who will run all the Revit models and stuff like that. So they're really, really good. So they help me out a lot. So we'll do that. We'll do the designs, obviously, all the iterations. You'll obviously request all the quotes from your contractors. Anything that needs doing, you'll get the quotes in. You'll send it out to the QS, who will obviously sort their end, and then they'll send it back. That's your job done until the project starts, really. And then you go on site. You'll do all of your visits. So you'll do like a first fix, your pressure tests, plant inspections, case inspections, PC, all the way through the project. And then right at the end, you'll do a final account, which I haven't done yet because none of my projects have finished. Obviously, I've just started. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. I mean, in my role specifically, we have like refresh projects, we have new builds, we have extensions. So it is all retail, and it's all mostly construction based. However, there is also like the maintenance element to it, which granted, I don't really get involved with too much, but we will do maintenance audits and see how each store is performing. We'll do a little KPI and just score it, which the contractors will then need to, keep up to scratch with. But yeah, it's interesting, it's fun, and I'm really enjoying it.
It's a really challenging role. I think that's what you've not said. Projects is stressful. I don't think there's ever a time where there's not something that, and that's the thing. I say it's challenging. It's an opportunity to learn and grow. But when you're in the thick of that situation and something isn't quite going the way you want it to go, it can be so stressful. So I think, you're downplaying it a little bit. You've actually achieved such a lot for the short time that you've been in the industry. And that, that's obviously been acknowledged in some of the awards that you've got as well. Could you tell us about the awards that you've received?
Yeah, of course. So I was shortlisted for the RAC and IOR National Student of the Year Award in 2023, so last year. This was also the first opportunity I had to attend an industry event, which I thought was fantastic. I was a little bit taken aback, actually, at how big of an event it is. I wasn't expecting it to be, there to be as many people in there or anything like that. But it was great, and I think having the Student of the Year awards and the students coming to the awards is fantastic. I mean, the connections and that you make, it's unparalleled to anything else. Like you'd meet people at these events that you probably wouldn't come across otherwise. So for example, you might meet in my position, you might meet a manufacturer, get into, conversations which you might not even know this person exists. But yeah, so that was fantastic. And then a couple of months later, I believe it was the start of this year, I won the Silver Award at the TOTI Awards, so ACR and Heat Pumps Trainee of the Year Awards. That was also brilliant. That one was up in Manchester, so it wasn't too far for me to get to. But I never imagined that I'd even be shortlisted for these awards. So it's great. I mean, everyone who was shortlisted has been doing amazing things in their work, and it's really good to see. Obviously, there's the challenge of the industry is aging a little bit, and to spotlight the young people in the industry, I think it's fantastic. It's definitely needed.
It is, and it's not an opportunity that we had. I was in the industry 15 years before I went to the IOR dinner. So yeah, but you have already had an exceptional career, so it is very much deserved, and it's nice that we celebrate these things a little bit more now. So sort of off the back of that, what really has been your highlight? And it doesn't have to be the awards, it might be the awards, but is there anything else that's really like been a standout moment for you?
Yeah, to be honest, I think my standout moment probably is the first event I went to. So it's the Iowa Awards, purely because I think I was so taken aback. But in all honesty, like, it's just nice to be recognised, and it's nice to get a wider picture of the industry. And I think that probably is a highlight for me. Being shortlisted for these awards and being able to expand my network.
I think that's it, is to use those opportunities. I really enjoyed it, and I think, like Lisa Jane said, I think when we kind of started, you're almost a bum fill because someone else had kind of dropped out and it was a last minute fill. So to go to those awards, kind of, probably back then it was more about getting dressed up night out. But you kind of realise how big the industry is, how important it is. It's not a bit naff, do you know what I mean? It's such a big event. But I think now when I go, it's really exciting to look at the students up kind of on the stage and being recognised as well, and seeing, probably from when we started with this network, to see people like Gemma Weston and how their career developed through being recognised at that level is fantastic. So really embrace it, but also do use those opportunities to network and talk to people. I love seeing the students there and talking to them about their careers and stuff, because I think when we started out, I will say I just stumbled into the industry. Wasn't I didn't have a plan for it. Love it. I'm in it now, and now love to see new people coming through that will be the future, because you're right, we are an aging industry. I even realize it in work sometimes. We talk about apps and things, and it's kind of all a little bit scary kind of now, but we need to embrace that future and excite people and make it an exciting industry to be part of as well. So I think brilliant for you, such great achievements early on, and do use them and embrace it to kind of build your network, and encourage others as well.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it's also important to remember as well that Caitlin's employer has been really supportive of this. You have an invite to go to these events, but they don't necessarily have to support you in that. And I think hearing how it's impacted you will hopefully, put some doubts out of minds that others that perhaps don't do that. I'm not saying that there's anybody specific, but I think sometimes it's challenging, isn't it? Because of the environment that we work in, and if people have to be away from work and something happens, like breakdowns, whatever, it's not convenient. But we're forgetting the power of these events, and as you say, like the networking, the making of connections, and even just talking with your peers and sharing experiences amongst yourself. It's reassuring sometimes to know that other people have been through the same thing, isn't it? So that you don't sort of think, oh, was that just me that was thinking that, or that happened too? When you start to share those stories, you realise that a lot of experiences are quite common across the industry.
Definitely. I think I can't fault them. I mean, anytime I'll send an email over to my boss. Can I go to this? Yeah, of course you can. Just let me know when it is. And it's as simple as that. And I don't see why it should be any different for anyone else. I think if anyone had any doubts about sending their students off to these events, like, personally, I don't see anything against and disbenefit, if you like. I can't think of the word. If you could get your student to network with people and make connections that they wouldn't otherwise have, why wouldn't you? It just makes sense in my head.
I think there's always been a fear that they'll make connections and leave.
It's a competitive industry, isn't it? And that's what kind of people's main concerns, rather than, but you're right, you look after your people. And it's like me, I've been at Daikin for 25 years, and there's a reason for that. I have friends in competitors. I've been at events, but there's a reason you stay, and it's often that support and that growth that you get from where you are. Why would you kind of want to move, really?
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I really do think that if you actually look after your people, then it doesn't matter who they network with. They're not going to be tempted away because they're actually really happy where they are. So that's why I think this is great, to hear this from Caitlin, how valuable that experience has been for her, but also to see her loyalty to her employer, who has, after all, invested so much time in your education and development. And yeah, it's really paying off, because like I said, you've made such a significant impact already, and you've progressed at a really good rate.
Yeah.
You know, it just shows the value of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Caitlin, one of our questions really, I think, with where you are now, and what would you have told your younger self?
Well, my younger self was always messing around at school, so it'd probably be get your head down, stop hanging around with people who have bad intentions. That is pretty much what I would give myself. I think obviously I've turned out all right, but I wish I'd have got my head down in school, like I said. I think, I don't know, it's strange when you're younger, because you pick up what your peers do, and, you know, if something's deemed cool, you might just think, oh yeah, I want to do that, but actually that's not who you are as a person. And I think, obviously this isn't necessarily refrigeration specific, but just life in general, just get your head down, just do what you want to do, and be the best person that you can be. It's as simple as that.
It's okay. I think the best of us end up in the refrigeration industry as well, because I wasn't very academic either. It was an accident, but yeah, I think because, and it also becomes, yeah, maybe school isn't kind of a university and further education, but I think trainee programs, apprenticeships, getting in with a really good company and a manufacturer that is going to support you is what you need.
Yeah, definitely.
And I kind of talk now, like I grew up within the industry. I started, and I will get this wrong now, it's kind of 2021, into an air conditioning manufacturer, not because of what they were doing, but it was a job, but it was that support that helped me to grow and develop and really grow up. So all my mistakes, unfortunately, have been done in the same industry. But yeah, hopefully people have forgotten any of those now. But yeah, and I think that's where the trainee programs and apprenticeships come in great. And yeah, brilliant for your neighbour to drop that into you and get you on that journey.
Yeah, I always tell that story. I just think it's quite bizarre how it all happened. Because I probably wouldn't have found it. Granted, it was, you know, when the job was posted, it was posted on Facebook. I have Facebook. It is probably about half an hour from where I live. So I could have seen it, but I probably wouldn't have. So I just think it's quite bizarre. But yeah, just going back to what you said about traineeships, I think they're fantastic. I personally, I didn't want to go to university because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I could have done a couple of things really, but I hadn't chosen, so I didn't. And I've always said to myself, you know, you can always go back to university. Like, you don't have to go straight away. Which, you know, if I ever find time to do, I may do that. But obviously there's other ways to get qualifications. I mean, I had a meeting the other day with my manager to discuss achieving a manager's site card, so the black card. I'm going to go down the managers and professionals route and CITB course, but I'm going to go down that route. Anyway, I think it was that, or have an MVQ level 3, which I don't have. So there's always an alternate route. Is my point here.
And you're absolutely right with that, kind of getting into a workplace and education. And I always talk, I decided to do, as I say, kind of left school after GCSE kind of level, really. Just wanted to work, wanted to get a job. And then I went back and did an open university degree when I was about 34, I think. So part-time.
Yeah.
Started off really interesting and not within the industry. I did it in psychology because at the time I was kind of a new manager and I just liked the subject, and it was just really a point for me to go, I can do this. I just wanted to prove to myself that I was capable of doing it, which, like you say, leaving school, I had no interest, didn't want to do anything, and just wanted to go and work. So yeah, it's always there as an opportunity. If you're willing to work hard and spend a lot of time, it's improving yourself as well. So yeah, never think because you've gone down a work route and not a further education route, it's not a choice now. You can kind of still do the education part within your workplace as well.
Yeah, definitely.
We we like to ask people if they have someone specifically that's inspired them. That could be like when you were growing up, or even maybe now, if there's someone, yeah, I don't know, they've got your back, or they, just that their achievements made you think, yeah, I can do that too. Is there anybody like that you want to tell us about?
Yeah, definitely. So growing up and still now, it's got to be my dad. So my dad, he is a business owner, small business. He's owned the company since I was about 3, so quite a long time. A printing business, based over in Huddersfield. But the lesson that seeing your parents, because my mum works with him as well, the lesson that I've kind of got from growing up, seeing my parents running their own business, is work really, really hard, and success will come to you if you put in the work. Like you get out what you put in, and it's as simple as that, really, but it's such a powerful thing to see. And I think I do think, your environment as a child, it completely like sways the course of your life, and I owe quite a lot of my hard work into seeing my dad working the way he does. But also, and he's gonna kill me for saying this, but my boss, Tim Simpson, he's just ace. He's really good at his job, and he just knows everything. Like, you could call him up with the most bizarre question you can think of, and he'll know the answer. And if he doesn't, he'll find out and call you back in 5 minutes. And I just think it's fantastic. It's like a book of knowledge, and he just retains it all.
I love that. I mean, you're right about the environment that you grow up in. That really does play a big part on who you are. But the fact that you've got someone in your day-to-day work that you can rely on as well and aspire to be like, one day you'll be that oracle of knowledge and someone else will be calling on you. That is fantastic that they're willing to share that knowledge with you. Clearly have found your fit, I would say.
We'll go shout out to Tim then,
Yeah.
as well. And I think you're right. I used to kind of watch some of the engineers I worked with, and I think we talked about on the podcast before about, I used to answer a question on the phone to someone, and 2 minutes later they'd be ringing the guy behind me because his answer would be right, mine would be wrong, not knowing that I'd got my answer from him anyway. But
Yeah.
I used to kind of sit there and think, I want to be that person. I want that knowledge, like where I want their eyes when they're looking at a drawing and kind of what they're kind of taking in and thinking. So it's quite funny. But yeah, eventually you do start to become the person people will come to, and before you know it, you're spouting kind of stuff that's just stuck up there, really.
You don't even know it's there. You just
Yeah.
Have you had any embarrassing moments? We've shared a few over the course of the series, haven't we, Karen? Karen and I started in the industry at 19 as well. I've been around 24 years. So we've both had lots of opportunities to have little mishaps. It doesn't necessarily need to be at work, but is there any funny stories you're willing to share with us?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that funny, really. It's just me being a bit silly. So probably, I'm going to say 2021. So I might have been in the industry for about a year. I was meeting my boss at a store. So the store is called Bramley. I live near Leeds, so I thought, Bramley, Leeds, right? Surely that's the only Bramley that there is. It was a misunderstanding, basically. It turned out to be Bramley in Sheffield, not too far away, which that's okay because I got there in about half an hour. But I turned up to the wrong store. I called my boss and I was like, "Where are you?" "I'm at the store." "No, you're not. I'm at the store." "You're at the wrong store." I was like, "No way." So it's not very funny, but it was quite embarrassing. And obviously everyone at work found out that I'd gone to the wrong
That's it.
store.
Yeah. But
So
you didn't lose a whole car park like I did. That was my one of my earlier stories. Was I met a customer, parked my car.
oh dear.
He walked me back to the car park after our meeting, and it was totally the wrong car park. And yeah, so I spent the next, I think, 3 hours walking through London looking for where my car may be. Traffic warden helped me in the end, with really sore feet and very hot. panicking, free trackers and all that kind of stuff. It was like, how do you find a car in London? But I think things like that, it's always that laughing about it. Okay, you might have been late for your meeting, but panicked, kind of driving from one to the other. But it is, not making the excuses, just going, do you know what? I made a mistake. We're all kind of human. It's quite funny when you watch people kind of getting themselves out of something that won't just admit we're all human and it was a mistake, and a really nice funny story that will follow you now.
Yeah. I love that.
And just with you're an affiliate member of the IOR now, is that right?
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about what you get out of the institute and kind of how that's benefit you?
Yeah, of course. So I think I've already touched on the main thing that I'll talk about, and that's obviously the opportunity to network, the opportunity to connect with people within the industry, which obviously helps you at work, but it also with these events in terms of building rapport, building relationships with people that might otherwise just be strictly professional, but you might actually, end up becoming friends outside of your place of work. So making friends with people in other companies, which in an industry like this, I think a lot of people are friends. I think it's great. In terms of other things that the IOR has to offer, I think it's great that on the website, obviously, you have access to papers and news. I think it's a great place where, even if you just type in refrigeration, IOR will pop up. You can go on the website, and it's just everything you could possibly need is there. It's great, to be honest. It's useful, it's helpful, and it does what it needs to do.
I agree. I think the most valuable bit about the website for me is the document archive. Just, day-to-day work, and someone asks you something and you're like, do you know what? I haven't looked at that for ages. So you can just go on there and look for the latest paper.
Yeah.
It's been through a committee, it's peer reviewed, so it's, it's solid information. It is really helpful.
Yeah.
Really valuable resource.
Definitely. I think in terms of like CPD, continual professional development, it's great. Like you said, the document archive is great for that. If you've got spare time on a night or just whenever, like you can just read, like you said, you know that it's been checked, approved and tested, if you like.
So I'm going to ask you, sort of getting back to your career a little bit. Obviously, you've not been in your new role for very long, but do you have aspirations of where you might want to be heading to in the future? And I'm not going to put a time limit on it, because I really hate that when people go, where do you want to be in 5 years? My answer's always retired, and I haven't reached it yet. But where are you aiming for? If you've got an idea, or are you just going to roll with what you're doing?
I have an idea, or I have a couple of ideas. I mean, I don't want to push myself into a corner, but it's a little bit cliche, but I kind of just want to go as far as I can. I just want to push myself, see how much I can handle as a person, and see how much knowledge I can get, to be honest. I think ultimate goal is probably to become a company director, but I am a long way off that. I like the idea of exploring, wider construction as well, staying in refrigeration, but taking on more, so possibly taking on mechanical. I don't know. We'll see where it takes me.
I love that. Your passion and drive is clear, and you said it. You've already done so well, so I'm sure you'll achieve that. As long as just got to keep your foot on the gas pedal, and you'll get there for sure.
I look forward to seeing the future Caitlin as well, actually, what you're trying to do with your career as well. It's really exciting to kind of talk to you now, and we'll be looking at you when you're company director.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, and that's for sure. I know Karen earlier mentioned that we're an aging industry, and we're probably, we have been in it for a while, but I'll just remind Karen, we've still got at least another 25 years.
Yeah, we're not aging. The industry's aging. Got ages.
We've got so much time to watch these students grow, and
retire in 5 years really early.
it will be interesting to look back, at myself in 25 years, obviously coming on record and saying, I want to do this. It'll be interesting to see if I do get there, if I go in a completely different direction, but only time will tell.
Do you see, Caitlin, from kind of being within the industry sort of for the past 4 years or so, do you see it as being quite diverse? Do you still see there's gaps? Because I think we've seen the change. There's still a long way to go, but yeah, as kind of newer into the industry and younger within it, what kind of do you see as gaps?
I think it's diversifying. I think it's on the way. I think there are gaps, but it's difficult because obviously the industry as a whole are bringing in a lot of trainees, a lot of younger people, but you still need the experience that can only be gained from someone who has been working in the industry for a very long time. Then I feel like there needs to be a very careful balance of trainees coming in and learning the trade, learning how things work, but it needs to happen very quickly, in my opinion. Which, yeah, I just feel like if it didn't happen in the right way, then the industry may head towards a shortage of people in the future, which obviously would not be good for anyone. Obviously, the industry and people within the industry are really pushing to getting children involved, even through like the STEMazing project, which I had the privilege of joining on its first programme back in 2020, I believe. I think more should be done to target the older group of children. So like teenage years where you choose your options, where you choose
you said it there as well, not knowing what you wanted to do, and if it doesn't, if refrigeration or isn't visible to you, you're not going to choose that.
Yeah, exactly. Because as a child, or as a teenager, you obviously you go into a shop, you see refrigeration, you see cases, but you don't really think about it. You don't think, oh, there's an industry for that. I think we need to shout about it in secondary schools and even at universities. Get people in from that age range. Even if it's just letting them know that we exist, might not even be, recruiting, because you never know what route someone in that group may go down, and in the future they may join our industry later, for example. I think overall, as an industry, I think we're heading in the right direction, definitely.
No, I do agree, and I know Karen agrees that you're talking about like secondary education and universities, and that's where we move beyond the STEMazing programme. I love that programme. I'm just about to do another one. I've lost count of how many I've done, but it's just so rewarding. But if you register as a STEM ambassador, that opens a whole host of opportunities. You don't just have to take up opportunities that schools, colleges, and universities are offering. You can make your own offers. So you can say, I live here, I'm willing to travel within so many miles, and I want to talk to university students about industry, or I want to talk to secondary schools about careers. I've done a few of them now, and I have to say, after talking to 300 13 to 14-year-olds, nothing is scary anymore. It's really quite like just literally in this auditorium, and there's just rows and rows and rows of children, and they're all obviously really tall, and I'm very small, so I felt really intimidated right from the off. It was a great experience. I'd say nothing really like scares me now, and I would definitely encourage people to do that. And I know obviously Karen's been on STEMazing as well, so we've all had the benefit of that experience. It's not easy to start, is it? Like to get the confidence to run those kind of activities, but under the right teacher, we're all capable of doing that and sharing our passion.
And I think I delayed. I convinced so many people to go on it that it was it came to my point where I was like, I need to kind of do it now as well. And I even remember for someone that at work can talk to crowds of rooms, can present, and I kind of before had a bit of I'm not good enough, I'm I haven't got time to get it organised. It's too much. And then once I cracked that first one, it was brilliant, and it was really good fun to do them. Actually, I think it was last summer when I was doing mine. So it was kind of really good to get on and do some of those. A proud achievement. Would love to get back and do some more, but I think you can always get bogged down into the reasons to do something else. But I think, as Lisa Jane says, definitely signing up as a STEM ambassador and kind of choosing what you want to do with that experience as well.
I think as well, individuals, and I probably will look into this actually, into becoming a STEM ambassador. Obviously, I've done the STEM Amazing program, so I think that's probably something I could do. I think companies within the industry in general should do more. I think it's brilliant. We've got people like you, Lisa, for example, going out of your way to educate people, like you said, with the 300 students. I think it's ace. But I also think that to make a really big difference, I think it needs to come from a lot more people, wider community.
It's so those big company names get recognised as well, don't they? And then not just a kind of niche product, or like you say, walking into shops now, I guess you're a whole different person when you walk in and look at cabinets now and stuff. It's one of ours.
I think that the opportunity that schools actually present as well, one of the things that always captures their imagination, you've got the sustainability element. Like young people are so passionate about that. And if you can incorporate that into what you're telling them about our careers, we are moving down a more sustainable route. The landscape of refrigeration is going to be very different in 25 years. So, everything is changing at such a rapid rate, and we need them. We need their vision. It's just how you sell that. So it's, if you can find that little hook that they're interested in, so you can relate your job to sustainability, that's when you start to see that interest in their eyes. I'm really excited about the future.
My first question, I think, on my first amazing session that from one of the children was what I invented, and all of a sudden I just was like, nothing. Didn't tell him that, of course, but like Lisa Jane said, had related it towards kind of the world of heat pumps and that kind of sustainability angle that to get their interest. Because sorry guys, I'm not an inventor, but very involved in kind of the world of refrigeration and heat pumps and looking at products and that kind of side of it. So it is, and they don't care what my answer is.
You're saving the world one heat pump at a time.
Exactly.
I didn't want to go down the inventor route. I wanted to do something different.
It's making it relatable as well, isn't it? Everything from like their mobile phone to if there's no data centers, then that's not going to work. Or even things like their Xboxes, if you take out the fans and the heat sinks, like that's not going to work anymore. To actually talking them through process, like carrot harvest, how the carrots are harvested, and then the whole process that needs to go through the baths and the cooling before they're packed and then off to the supermarket. And refrigeration is a massive element in that, but it's not something you would ever think about. You don't think about when the carrot's pulled out of the ground that it needs to be dumped in a bath straight away. It's all these sorts of things to try and to relate it to stuff that they're seeing and experiencing every day. Just gives us a little bit more visibility, but it's about finding that hook, isn't it? What they're interested in and the kind of future that they want to live. And that's, they are the future. They are going to shape the industry. Like I said, I'm really excited for the future. What we do as an industry in 25 years time, I think will be quite different. I actually think that will help us to attract people in the future as well. Like the scope of jobs are changing. To quote Celia Harvey, so she's the CEO of City and Guilds, she said, the skills we have today aren't necessarily the skills that we need for tomorrow. And like that really resonated with me, like the changing landscape and how we're going to have to change our scope just to keep going and to be more sustainable. So I think we've got lots of opportunities to attract people, but as you say, we've got to get out there and talk to people about the industry, young people, postgraduates as well, because we've got fantastic opportunities for them to grow their knowledge and to have the fantastic careers that we've got. We've just, like you say, we need more people on the ground actually talking about what we do.
Yeah, definitely.
Caitlin, thank you for joining today. Were you nervous?
To be honest, I didn't really have much time to be nervous.
It doesn't need overthinking.
No, I've just come back from holiday actually, so this morning read all my emails and then jumped straight on the podcast. So
Straight
I
back
didn't
into
have
it.
time.
No, it's really good, and it is. Yeah, I think doing things that challenge yourself and getting involved differently, you will be the mentor of the future and someone that people look up to in the future once Lisa Jane and I have retired many years. But no, it's really good. Keep up the good work and keep going with it, keep networking, and really, yeah, hope to see you kind of at some point at a dinner, no doubt. Yeah, hopefully up receiving more awards as well.
Thank you both for having me.
Thank you.
I've really enjoyed it.
Good.
It's been really nice just to get to know you a little bit better and know more about your role. I'm sure everybody's going to find it really interesting and inspiring as well, because as I say, you have achieved a lot.
Thank you for listening to this podcast, and I hope you found it interesting and inspiring. Keep an eye out for social media posts where you can like and subscribe, see what's next, and please share with your colleagues and even let us know what you want to hear more of. You can get more involved with our LinkedIn group, IOR Women in RACHP, and help to spread the network and highlight women in our industry. Please get in contact if you would like to reach out about anything where we can be supportive. Thank you.